Welcome back. You're with Behind the Label. I'm Lo from Elgrave Photography.
I'm Jerry with Stone Fences Tours. And we're here at the Ripy Mansion.
Yes, the heart of it all.
The heart of it all. Yes.
What kind of got us started on this in the first place?
Put it up front.
Yeah, we'll put it up front. So if you've joined our other episodes, we've been following along. We've been doing the Ripy family series. Just a super quick recap. James Ripy came over from County Tyrone in Ireland, 1830. Comes to finally gets to Kentucky. Is not a whiskey producer.
Not at first, no.
But gets in the business. Gets a distillery. Only has it 1 year.
Passes it to his son.
That gets the ball rolling. His sons get in the game.
His son, yep, James P. and TV, who built this beautiful mansion.
Yep, and they started in Tyrone, which is not actually in Lawrenceburg, but very close. Just a few miles away down the Kentucky River. They basically built a dynasty, an empire of bourbon. They spread out, many kids, many boys kind of joined the game.
They do. Ripy brothers.
Did they have any daughters that joined into the bourbon industry?
Like I said, Mr. Tom B. Ripy the fourth, that is part owner of this house. His sister actually worked at Wild Turkey.
Okay, so
as
they
a
were
ball lane manager and all that, all the way until the last decade. So they were involved. This house, we haven't really talked about this house so much.
Right.
So T.B. Ripy, we talked about how he was like, at one time, the largest independent distiller in the
And
world.
you're talking about when he was, that was in the 1870s?
1880s, yes.
Yeah.
He built this house in 1888. And like I said, this is a beautiful 11,000 square foot house.
Yeah.
It's the first house in Anderson County that had carbide gas lighting.
Yeah, and they actually, I think Millie said there was some, or maybe it was Tom, that Tommy told me that one or two of them still worked or still were.
Yes, you still see the keys to turn the gas on, and the chandeliers and all that. It's the first house that had that. First house that had running water.
Yep. They have their own steam boiler for all the radiators, so it was heated, lighted, plumbing. Do they have plumbing?
Yes,
Okay.
first running water in the county. Also, it had the first, one of the early like spring-fed swimming pools. So I mean, you're talking about.
Yeah, I was going to say, while we're on that, this is actually a series I did in this house.
Yes.
So we were talking about the radiators. This is a close-up of one of the radiators. There's not one that's
There's one over in the corner.
right behind the camera there. So, and I'll kind of feed through some of the photos that we've done here. There's sort of an endless number of details you can, especially in the house. The house, you tend to take
One of that 11,000 square feet.
Yeah, 11,000 square feet. You can do the entire house, or you can sort of focus on.
They're very detailed. I mean, the hinges on the house are detailed.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't have that with me, but I actually have a photo of just the hinges. Right now, if you went and got something like that, first of all, you wouldn't be able to find it. Second of all, you'd have to have it pretty much handcrafted, custom crafted. You're looking at literally probably $150 to $200 per hinge.
Oh yeah, they imported a lot of the stuff to the house. The bricks were actually made on site.
Yep.
This was a large. I mean, it was 100 acres in town. We're talking about Tyrone, where they first came from. This is Lawrenceburg. This is in town, 100 acres. They had a spring-fed swimming pool. They had tennis courts at the time. And there's pictures back in the day of these people on the tennis courts here.
Yeah, so this was, you're talking about sort of the Beverly Hills of the time, because even in the 1880s, there wasn't a whole lot west of here that was, civilized. I mean, there was people that had made settlements west of here, but you're talking about once you got out of Kentucky, even in the 1880s, you're starting to get kind of out west. So this was definitely the epitome of society and culture, especially in this area. I would venture to say in that time, this was probably a much more prosperous area than even like Lexington, mostly because of the Kentucky River, because you have the proximity of goods and services that were, the lumber industry, you've got the bourbon industry, you've got all these industries that rely on the river. So bottom line is this was Victorian heyday.
It was. I mean, you're talking about there were 20, as many as 26 distilleries in this county before Prohibition. Yeah. So I mean, this whiskey row is filled with these houses, and we have we're drawn to this house. First time I came to this house was almost 6 years ago, and a little history about this house. T.B. Ripy, we said, was the largest independent distiller in the world at one time.
Right.
And during that time, he built this house. That was 1888 when he finished this house. You know, he died pretty early in 1902, so he was fairly young. His wife, Sally, lived here until the 1940s, late 1940s.
Yeah. And we know George and Tom actually tell stories about being here with their grandmother, you know, having picnics, having dinner, having parties, all kinds of stuff. So that's, even though it's a pretty good long number of years, the generations skip pretty quickly through there.
They did.
You actually have living descendants that are basically one generation?
Oh, it's their great grandmother.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's multiple generations.
But I mean, one generation removed from the original owner and builder.
Oh, yes. I mean, she was the wife of T.B. Ripy that built the house.
Yeah.
She lived here. She lived into her 90s. The house stayed in the family until 1965 and was sold outside the family. This is a big house. And when you're talking about people taking care of this house, it's a lot to take care of.
Yeah, and there's evidence around of even like, I think there's a dumbwaiter back in the kitchen. So bottom line is there were servants and there was a workforce associated with this house.
Oh yes.
This isn't a house that a father, mother, and 3 kids could take care of. This had servants and maids and gardeners and people for the pool and people for the so this was a big deal.
So once it went out of the family, it slowly fell in disrepair because it's just so much to keep up with. And
now there was someone that lived here though during that time, because I know there.
Oh, there are multiple people. There's a doctor lived here, and there's a lady that lived here. Had her own way of decorating.
Yeah, I was going to say I've heard stories. We won't pull out any names, but I've heard stories about leopard skin,
leopard print on the floor, the wall, the ceiling.
Everything was a little bit of sort of that groovy 70s, 80s vibe.
Yes. So I mean, it stayed out of the family until 2010. It went up to foreclosure.
Yeah, I saw that.
And 2 great grandsons of T.B. Rippy ended up buying the house. They actually went to the foreclosure not really thinking they were going to buy the house, but they got a good deal and they bought the house. And once they started bidding, everybody else kind of stopped.
I was going to ask that. Yeah. Did people kind of recognize that?
I think
these are
they knew
that
they knew they were descendants.
Good.
So they kind of stopped and actually got it for a good price. And actually, it was 2 great grandsons of T.B. Rippy, Tom Rippy the 4th and George Gohagan the 3rd. These were, Tom Rippy the 4th, his grandfather was E.W. Rippy. He was the one of the Rippy brothers. Yeah. He's the one that rebuilt Rippy Brothers Distillery after Prohibition. Now George, his grandfather was William. He was the youngest child of T.B. and he worked at the Hoffman Distillery. So they bought this house in 2010 and it was in rough shape. Like I said, the first time I came here was 6 years ago. It was pretty rough. And they're using this money to repair this house. They've done a lot of work on the first floor. I think you got a picture over there of like the detail and everything of the,
Oh, yes. Let me just kind of show. This is actually a picture from the 2nd floor.
Yes.
The 1st floor is a little bit more repaired.
The first floor is not pretty much, I would say 90% done.
So this is actually straight above us on the bathroom. So there's parts of it that still, even though it's in disrepair, I like to capture it. It's kind of a cool look. Let's do it like that, get a little glare. So this is upstairs.
The 2nd floor hasn't been refinished.
Yeah, it hasn't been refinished, but you can still tell, even under all this, there's a lot of glamour. There's a lot of, the big tub, the pedestal sink, high ceilings, the whole thing. So there's a lot of work to be done here, but a lot of potential to be done.
Yes.
And that's one of our goals here is to
every event here is to raise money for the house. Like I said, the first time I came here was 6 years ago. I was researching our Bourbon Barons tours for our tours, our historic bourbon tours. And I came here and I was like, oh, this is so awesome. We want to take people to not only the distilleries, but anything associated with the family. And this thing 6 years ago looks nothing like it looks now. I mean, they've done so much to this first floor, and it's just 2 brothers. Now, they both were attorneys. One of them became a judge. One of them worked in D.C. One of them actually worked on the Clinton impeachment.
Oh, wow.
In D.C. So these are guys that have lived their life, and I mean, they've done so much in their life, but they're focusing everything now to this house.
Yeah. And we hope in future episodes we're going to do another one that's basically the families of Lawrenceburg and Anderson County, and we're hoping to get some interviews with them to kind of get their point of view, maybe get them, I don't know, hopefully on camera.
Oh, I love to talk to them. I mean, especially, both of them have like so much knowledge of bourbon history, Lawrenceburg history. So they pretty much know everything about this area. And, anything we can do, we bring tours here, tour groups on our bourbon baron tours. And the proceeds goes to the house. Our bourbon sessions, which will, we've had speakers. We're not just history when we do these speakers. We do history. So we've had like Fred Minnick and, Freddie Johnson from Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, Freddie was good.
Freddie is awesome.
Yeah, Freddie's good.
Nick Larquente, who we know, the bourbon archaeologist. So we do history, but we also promote like small craft distilleries. So we've had people here from like Jared from Wilderness Trail, Stephen Bean from Limestone.
Yep, that was good.
Joyce and Autumn Nethery from, Jeff the Creek.
The Creek, yeah.
Yeah,
One of the few female distillers.
Female distillers, yeah. She's right now the only female master distiller in the state.
Yeah.
We also had like podcasts, so like It's Bourbon Night, Sarah and Chad have been here. So it's not just history based, but it's all this stuff goes to promote this house and raise money for this house.
And the same thing goes on my end. I use this as one of the settings for engagement photos, senior photos.
Great wedding place.
Great wedding place.
If your dude's a bourbon lover, great wedding place.
Or if your girl really likes elegance and wants to stand on a staircase like this, what a great shot that would make. You put her there. So on my end of things, I use it as a photography location. And again, like you said, part of the proceeds of all the shoots, go back into the house to help make this even a better place. So we're kind of working together doing that.
Yeah, there's no bourbon mansions that you can walk into and take a tour of.
Yeah.
In the state.
Yeah.
I mean, the Beams on their house, the Samuels on their house, they're not really inviting people.
They're not having people in there.
No, so this is one of the only bourbon mansions that you can come to Kentucky and see, get a tour of the house that, the house that was built by bourbon.
Yeah, and not only that, you can actually drink the bourbon that built the house.
Oh, they have their liquor license, so.
Yeah.
So during all these events, during all these bourbon sessions, they can make you a nice cocktail.
Yes.
Anything like that. So they have their liquor license.
And so part of this, actually, that was one, I think you've mentioned that
yes.
The part of the proceeds, that was one of the reasons that they were kind of wanting to get collaborative with Wild Turkey, is because part of the proceeds goes back to help build the house. So not only getting a bottle of this, you have a beautiful bottle, a great bourbon, you're helping the house rebuild. It's a win-win-win situation.
And there's another one out too that it's called Bond and Lillard. It's part of their Whiskey Barons collection, where part of the proceeds go to this house.
Oh, it goes back to this?
It goes back to this house, yes. And it's still produced. They have multiple releases of it. So anything like that you can do, support this house. Like I said, this is history. And these two gentlemen are doing this on their own. This is not like something that's...
Yeah, this isn't like a federal trust,
No, this is two guys on their own restoring the house of their ancestors.
So I just want to we mentioned some of the hinges. This is, I'll kind of put it there. This is from the front door, just to detail the front door of the hinges. Just to kind of give you an idea of the detail that's related. We can maybe go that way. There we go. So that just kind of gives you an idea of the opulence that this house is, kind of has waiting to be uncovered. So in the end, we basically invite everyone, whether you're local, whether you're in the state, or whether you're across the world, come and visit.
Come here.
Yeah.
You can come on one of our tours. You can come to a bourbon session.
You can come and take a photo.
You can come for a wedding, photo.
Yes.
There's other events they have here. I know they have like teas that they're starting up. And different events where they have the house open for tours. Live music, picking on the porch. And
you have, I know we did a Santa Claus shoot here. We had Santa with the kids.
Yeah.
We've had balls. We've had all kinds of things. So it's a great location. So not only will you get a great location, you will help to support and to rebuild the house, which then just makes it just an even better location.
So I say, cheers.
Actually, let me tell you what, I'm going to add just a little bit, tiny bit more.
Of course you would.
Of the, like that. Let's give you a little bit.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Yes.
Yep, double thanks.
We'll get this bottle back to you in a safe condition.
Yep. So, to the Rippies.
Cheers.
Join us next time. Who are we doing on the next series?
I don't know, depends on who you want to do.
All right. I think their next series are going to be all the families of Lawrenceburg.
Lawrenceburg?
Yep. So
That'd be pretty cool.
including the Sapples. So
That'd be awesome.
We'll throw that in.